Hey guys, how's it going? Danconia here. Welcome back to the Overwatch League Roundup 2020 All-Stars North America preview. So last weekend we had All-Stars for Asia and it was quite the show with loads of different mini games going on. We had the Widowmaker 1v1, we had the All-Star game for Asia, which was Brick Movers, the Chinese talent versus Jaehong and Students, which was the Korean talent. And also we obviously had the All-Star game and everything. It was really cool to watch. But now this week we have got the North American side of it. So the North American side of it will start on Saturday, October the 3rd. It is going to be from 12 to 4 PM PT, 3 to 7 AM CST, 4 to 8 AM KST, and I believe that is somewhere around 8 PM British Summer Time. So, you know. This is going to be an interesting one because from what I can see, it is a much shorter version, which is not necessarily what we want to see, but I think it's because there's a few teams over in Asia right now for the grand finals. We're talking about San Francisco, we're talking about Philadelphia, and yeah, I'm not sure why it's all that short, but it is what it is, and we're going to make the best of it. Anyway, it's time to take a look at this then. So, we have, obviously, the Widowmaker 1v1, and that's what we're going to start out with. So, well, I'm not sure what the schedule is, I'm not sure what's coming first and second and third. I would have thought it might be Widow 1v1, then T-Mobile Talent Takedown, and then All-Stars game, but I don't know for sure. But the Widow 1v1, let's take a look at that first. So, we saw this last week, same format, and last week it was Fitz, Glister, Carpe, Happy, Godsby, Bacon Jack, DM, and Arns, and I believe it was DM that won it, DM retaining his title for the second year in a row. But now we are going to see the North American side of it. So, who is going to be competing in the North American Widowmaker 1v1 tournament? It is going to be Logics of the Toronto Defiant, Lynxer of the Houston Outlaws, KSP of the Los Angeles Valiant, Shockwave of the Vancouver Titans, Onigod of the Dallas Fuel, Soon of the Paris Eternal, Color Hex of the Boston Uprising, although there is a spelling mistake on the Overwatch League website where it actually says Boston Uprising, so congratulations on that, Overwatch League. And then Dalton of the Vancouver Titans. So 2 features for the Vancouver Titans, interesting enough, which is, that is interesting. Yeah, I mean, if this had been a normal Widowmaker 1v1 sort of All-Stars thing, obviously there'd be people like Decay in here, likely Arns, it would have been a bigger Widow 1v1 tournament. But we have what we have the 2 regions, so this is what is going to happen. Now, who do I think is going to do pretty well in this? I think Onigod could do well. I think Soon could do well, but also Dalton has got a pretty good Widow, but also Shockwave's got a pretty good Widow as well. But if I was to see a standout name here, it would be KSP. KSP has been really good for the Los Angeles Valiant this season on the hit scan, and he looks like a really good potential winner of that tournament. Obviously, Lynx or Logics, they've still got great play. Color Hex, not sure, if I'm honest. But Lynxer has got pop-off potential, but we haven't seen a really good Widowmaker from him consistently this season, so it'll be interesting to see what he does. But if I was to go for a bet on anyone winning this, it would be KSP. But it'll be interesting to see where these guys go. And there's no Exy. I'm presuming he's back in South Korea. That's what I'm presuming. And he would have been in the Asia 1v1 if it wasn't for the such stacked roster in that Asia 1v1 with the likes of Arns and Happy and Carpe, Glister, Fitz, DM, Bacon Jack, you know. Let's not go on, Godsby and all that. Then after this, we have the T-Mobile Talent Takedown. And I think this is going to be the highlight of the weekend. I'm not going to lie for North America, because the Widow 1v1 and All-Stars are not as stacked, in my opinion, as the South Korean, not the South Korean, but the Asian one was. So, yeah, I think this is going to be the highlight of the weekend, because this is where we see the talent. And we always know that this is going to be an absolute map. So, in North America, the Talent Takedown is a 6v6 competition across a 3-map set. Map 1 will feature Genji and Tracer on Hollywood, Kings Row or Blizzard World. Map 2 will be Goats on Rialto, Havana or Route 66. Map 3 will feature Widow and Tracer on Ilios, Lijiang or Busan. And Map 4, which is a tiebreaker if needed, is standard competitive mode. So there is set heroes to pick on maps 1, 2 and 3. So it will be Goats on maps 2, which will be hilarious. Map 1 and Map 2 just has the DPS locked in as Genji, Tracer, and then Widow Tracer. So there's going to be a lot of Tracer play in this, which is going to be really, really interesting. Bad news for Jake. Yeah. Jake was never known for his Tracer, was he? No Junkrat trait. Jake, peppy hands. Anyway, participating talent. We have ZP, Andrew Rush, Bren, we have Frankie Ward, who's been stepping in for Zoe recently, Jaws, Jake, Reinforce, Sideshow, Mr. X, Uber, Hexagrams, Custer, and Zoe. And to divide these teams up, we have Team Custer, first of all, so this is going to be Custer, Reinforce, ZP, Frankie, Mr. X, and Hex. That's going to get mixed up with Mr. X and Hex. Mr. X and Hex. So that's Team Custer, and then we have Team Jake, which is Jake, Bren, Zoe, Uber, Jaws, and Sideshow. So, if you're looking for British talent, you're probably going to go for Team Jake. If you like Zoe, then you're going to be going for Team Jake. Uber, obviously, as well. And then, you know, if you're more of a reinforced Custer sort of person, you're going for Team Custer. Can I predict who's going to win this? Jaws is a high-level player. Sideshow's Diamond. Bren is Bren. Jake is obviously high level because he's ex-player. Custer's a high level player. Reinforce is a high level player. I think Team Jake has this. I somehow think Team Jake has this. They might struggle with their tank line slightly, but yeah, I would go for Team Jake winning. Your supports are what? Sideshow and Jaws? And then your DPS are Jake and Bren, Zoe and Uber on the tanks. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I would go for Team Jake, though. I would go for Team Jake. We're not going to see any of the skills challenges that we saw in the Asia one. So we're not going to see the Anna, Genji, Winston challenges or the Who is Meta challenge, which is a bit of a disappointment. But hey, there's nothing we can do about that. So now we are going to skip straight to All-Stars. So to go for the All-Star game, we'll go straight through that now. Coaches will draft among the players at each All-Star event to field 2 teams that will play a 6v6 match in 3-map set. In the event of a tie, an additional map will be played. Map 1 is standard competitive 6v6 on hybrid map. Map 2 is teams pick opponent heroes and play on an escort map. For this map, each team will submit 6 heroes for a 2-2-2 comp to be played by the opposing team. Players will not be required to play their traditional roles. Map 3, Tiny Overwatch Workshop mode, where all players start off with tiny character models but begin to grow in size as they do damage and healing using a control map. And then map 4 is a tiebreaker if needed, all damage, all tank, or support on the first 2 control maps. Each round of the map will feature all players playing one specific role. So the first round would be everyone on tank. The second round would be everyone on support. As we know, we saw this in Asia. So let's look at the All-Stars teams then. And we have them divided up into 2. They're not as big as the Asia ones, but we are going to have a lot of substitutions nonetheless. So Team Reinhardt is headed by KDG of the Philadelphia Fusion, a coach over there, and they are going to feature Dante, Soon, and Nico as DPS. They're going to have Super, Poco, and Nevix as tanks, and then they're going to have 4 supports in Funny Astro, Dogman, Jexer, and Crimzo, which is rather interesting because I'm assuming Poco and Funny Astro are in Asia right now. So they are going to be on significantly high ping, and it asks the question, where are some of the others? But hey, you know, it is what it is. Then we have Team Diva, who is being coached by Kuki of the Florida Mayhem. This is going to feature KSP, Shockwave, and Agilities on the DPS, Space, Hydration, McGravy, and Bembest on tanks, and then we have Kariv, Moth, and FD God on supports. I'm not going to lie, I want to see a Lucio 1v1 between FD God and Funny Astro. You know, it would have been funny to have a one of those tournaments, like one of those skills challenges, do a Lucio one. That would have been cool. That would have been really, really cool. So that's a tip for next year's All-Stars Overwatch League. Let's have a Lucio one. We've got some crazy good Lucios in this league. Lige Gon, Funny Astro, Moss, FD God. There's some great Lucios in this league. So let's go and see him go at it in a 1v1. I'd love it. Anyway, that is All-Stars for this weekend. Again, it's not as massive as the Asia one. I think mainly because most of the quality is in Asia. But, you know, what can we do about it? It's been a funny year for the Overwatch League, and hopefully we'll get back to more of a normality next season. But I'm going to leave it here for this one. So, thank you guys so much for the video. If you'd like to give it a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next video. See you then.